So we put up this case here entitled The Republic versus Reku Brobe and Kojom Pienim. And then we also have Gregory Afoko on the Attorney General. In the Republic versus Reku Brobe and Kojom Pienim, the matter was interesting. We are telling you some of the landmark rulings of Justice Marful Sau that have a public interest connection or that have a public law connection. So Charles Reku Brobe and Kojom Pienim were identified as the kingpins who did the organization of the celebration of 50 years of Ghana's independence. This was done in 2007. They called it Ghana at 50. And in 2009, when the Mills government arrived, there were general concerns in Ghana about what had happened in terms of financing Ghana at 50. So a presidential commission of inquiry was set up, pursuant to Article 287, I believe. And Charles Reku Brobe and Kojom Pienim appeared before the committee, and they were asked questions about what they knew on how the financing was done. So after the committee's work had ended, there were other persons who appeared before the committee, Anthony Akutose and others. After the committee had finished its work, the Attorney General of the day, I believe it was Mrs. Betty Moldedrisu, took out a writ of summons in prosecution and began the prosecution of Kojom Pienim and Reku Brobe and others at the Accra High Court. The judge for the occasion was the man we are talking about, the late Justice Marful Sau. And Marfo Sau made a landmark ruling in that matter, a significant landmark ruling in the matter. He held against the Attorney General that when people have appeared before a presidential commission of inquiry, originating from Article 287 of the Constitution, testimony gathered at the presidential commission of inquiry cannot be applied in a prosecution, because people appear before a presidential commission of inquiry, they swear the oath, and they are told to speak the truth, and that you cannot use that against them in a prosecution. That if you want to prosecute such persons, you proceed straight to the prosecution. You don't form a presidential commission of inquiry, so that prosecutors or government have an option of either or. Either you take them to a presidential commission of inquiry, or you prosecute them if you have the evidence to do so. But you cannot do both. That was a landmark ruling by Justice Marful Sau, delivered in the Republic versus Reku Brobe and Kojom Pienim, and it's become learning, substantial learning for many law students around Ghana, that Article 287 has an important import, which was lost on many people before Marful Sau spoke. The import of it is that when presidential commissions of inquiry are undertaken, the evidence thereof cannot be applied in the prosecution to prosecute people who had submitted themselves to the commission of inquiry. So that's one of the things that we remember Marfo Sau for. Also, in the case of Gregory Afoko versus the Attorney General, it was a very interesting case. As you know, during the infamous murder of the NPP regional chairman for Upper East, Chairman Adams, they used to call him. He had been attacked by assailants who poured acid on him and all of that in the heat of 2014, 2015, in the crisis of the NPP boardroom crisis, as I like to call it. He died. Chairman Adams died. And then Gregory Afoko was arrested. Gregory Afoko happens to be the younger brother of Paul Afoko, who was a chairman of the party at the time, later on suspended after all of those incidents. Now, Gregory Afoko was arrested. Gregory Afoko's lawyers believe that he had been denied bail unconstitutionally, and the matter had dragged for a long time. The lawyers of Gregory Afoko believed that he didn't have the prosecution didn't have the evidence to prosecute him, and that they were just keeping him in. So at some point, the Attorney General, in the case of Gregory Afoko, sometime in 2018, entered a nolle prosequi against on the matter. Nolle prosequi simply means the Attorney General can no longer prosecute. Sometimes when the Attorney General does that, it only means that they will enter a nolle prosequi, cancel the current case, and then begin a new, fresh series of prosecution and lay new charges against the accused person. Gregory Afoko was of that suspicion. He and his lawyers were of that suspicion that the Attorney General saying that I'll no longer prosecute just means that they will turn around and begin a new prosecution. So he resisted the nolle prosequi that Attorney General was bringing up, even though normally it should be in his favor. But he suspected all sorts of things. Justice Marful Sau was called upon again to have another look at this. Marful Sau held the view that the Attorney General can institute nolle prosequi at any time during the case, and that under no circumstance can the Attorney General's power or Attorney General's right to institute a nolle prosequi can, at any circumstance, can that be limited? And that the Attorney General had unlimited powers in that regard. So that's another matter that we remember Marfo Sau for. The principle being that at any time during a prosecution, the learned Attorney General is able to enter a nolle prosequi, even if that nolle prosequi is to arrest a judgment. Arrest a judgment simply means that a judge is about to give a ruling or a judgment. The Attorney General can enter a nolle prosequi before the final judgment so that the judgment will not be heard. Marfo Sau held the view that Attorney General can enter nolle prosequi at any time. So we remember him for that. Okay, now this is the other matter which Marfo Sau ruled much recently. And it's in the matter of the Mineral and Mining Act versus the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources and ex parte Exton Cubic. You know that Exton Cubic has really political significance. You know it is the mine at Hinahini, the bauxite mine at Hinahini, where there were some concerns at the beginning of Akufo-Addo's government that it had been signed on by the old government to somebody who is a family member of President Mahama in the person of his brother. And the Minister of Lands, however, has signed a letter purporting that Exton Cubic can keep the Hinahini mine. But the Attorney General had argued against it, and the matter had gone to the Supreme Court, sitting as a single judge of the Supreme Court. Justice Marful Sau held the view that the procedures by which Exton Cubic had acquired the mine was illegal, and that the Constitution and the Act of Parliament, the Mineral Act, had laid down procedures by which a mine could be taken, and that the mine had been taken without the proper procedure. And so he held the view that the lease that Exton Cubic was holding on to was invalid. This matter was challenged on review, and the Supreme Court panel of reviewers held the view that Marfo Sau was right in the matter. So these are the major issues of Justice Marfo Sau that we know about. And this is the man we are talking about, Justice Marfo Sau. May he rest in eternal peace until we meet again, Justice Samuel Marfo Sau. He also dedicated his time to teach young children. That's Marfo Sau again over there. And this is the day that he was given his patch of office by the president after being approved by Parliament. He's there. This is Justice Marful Sau on the extreme left, President Akufo-Addo in the middle, Adom-Otchere, and Justice Kote. Justice Marful Sau also gave his life to students. He took his time to study, to go to the Ghana School of Law and teach students. Incidentally, one of our interactive editors tonight is a student of Justice Marful Sau. He's going to show up right now. Pinaman, join me on the touch screen. Let's talk about Justice Marful Sau before we go to deal with the rest of the matters for tonight. So thank you very much. So do you guys have a class platform?
Yes.
What did he teach you? What did Marfo Sau teach you?
He taught us civil procedure.
Civil procedure? Yes. In year 1 or year 2?
Year 1.
Year 1, okay. Yes. Before I go to what people are saying on the class platform, what kind of person was he?
Justice Marful Sau was very calm, very composed. Anytime he enters class, I mean, there were times we used to joke about the fact that he would enter class and you wouldn't even notice that he had entered class because he had a very calm personality, you know. But then he was a type you could say was slow but sure, in a sense that he would actually go slowly, but then at the end of the day, he would achieve the goal he wanted to achieve.
What are people saying on the class platform?
We've all been saddened by the news of his passing. I think that generally everybody has been expressing how it's a shocking news to all of us because nobody expected anything of the sort. Justice Marful Sau had always been there, would always show up. He was one of the most punctual lecturers that we ever had. He would enter class exactly at the time he's expected. And it was very surprising because, I mean, for a man of his caliber, we would expect that he would be very busy and then may not even show up for certain lectures. But then he was always on point. He would always come to class, wait till his time is over, and probably sometimes exceed his time and all. And so it's a very sad news for us, and that everybody has been very saddened by the news of his passing.
Let's see this video, by the way. Let's see this video, and let's. Okay, so tell us what's happening in the video over here.
Yes, so on this day, that was his birthday. That was last year, and then because of the good things he had been doing for us, because of how we appreciated what he was doing for us, we decided to just surprise him with some gift, and then just to show him how we appreciate all the things he had been doing for us. So he wasn't even expecting it. It was just in the course of lectures when our class rep and the other leaders of our class just presented the gift to him. Okay,
so Marfo Sau is the one standing on the podium on the right, holding the microphone.
Yes, it was a normal day for lectures.
So this is your lecture room?
Yes.
Okay, who are those standing by him, the lady and the man?
Yes, so that's our class rep. The gentleman is our class rep, Kenneth, and then the lady is called Angela. She's also in our class.
I see. So what were they giggling about? This, he seems to be very excited.
Yes, because it was just something we had planned to just surprise him, and his reaction was something we were all looking forward to. And so it was really a proud moment for all of us.
And that was his birthday.
Yes, yes.
So that was his last birthday.
Yes, I should suppose.
Wow. So what would you miss about it? For students who will not get the opportunity to sit under his tutelage, what will they be missing?
I think, so first of all, his contributions to our legal education, I don't think it can be quantified in any way. And so I can just say that they are really going to miss a lot, because when we entered the Ghana School of Law, the perception had been that civil procedure was one of the most scary courses on campus. And so we were all anxious trying to find out how things would be. And then he comes in and then demystifies the whole thing, breaks everything down into very soluble forms. We are able to grasp everything. He makes it very comprehensive. And he has also written a book on civil procedure, which was very detailed but very simplified. And so everybody will miss Justice Marful Sau for how he taught civil procedure. People used to troop in from other campuses just to get the understanding based on how he taught the course. And so we're going to miss him very much. But then at least we can be happy because of the contributions he has made to our legal jurisprudence. And so looking at the books he had written and the judgments he had written, even though he's no more, some of these judgments, as you indicated here, are judgments which would go a long way to have a very positive impact on our democracy and on our legal system as a whole. And so while we are very sad, we are also very happy that we were blessed to have such a person in this country.
Fantastic. Now, Kweku Pinaman is an addition to our team, and he joins us to help us to understand to do some legal research. And also tonight he'll be joining the interactive editor. So you can take your seat back when the program starts. I'll come to you to read some of the text messages. Okay, so.
The prayer is the way we pray and the direction of the prayer. I mean, if you pray and ask God to change the mindset of our people, to change their values, and most of, I think we say that we all read the Bible, we all read the Quran, and I think that the tenets of the Bible and the Quran is against corruption. As a nation, this is a menace that we have to deal with. I think it's a national problem, and we need to pray. Yes, I think we need to pray.